Incense has started. I need the negative energy cleansed out of this space. So we will have that going because this is supposed to be my meditation time. Hi, my name is Paige Layle and I'm autistic. You may know me from TikTok. That is where my largest following is. You guys can go check me out on TikTok at Paige Layle, and while you're at it, you can follow my Instagram with the same name. If I seem a little more different in this video than in previous videos, it is because I am shutting down and I'm burnt out. I have a lot going on right now in my life in general. This is just the cherry on top. This is really sucky. Before I get into too much of anything, I just like to give a disclaimer that I like to say as often as possible. I do not, nor have I ever claimed to speak for anyone but myself. There's my dog barking. I am just one gal. This is just one autistic gal's opinion. Every autistic person is different, and that's like the whole point. It's a spectrum for a reason. If you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism. I will say though that what my opinions tend to line with the majority of the autistic community, or if not, it is what I think is the least harmful and the least ableist thing. I'm not just pro-autism and autism acceptance. I mean, I am autistic, so that's a big chunk, but I'm also anti-ableist. Literally, how dare my incense stop burning right now? So I was getting a lot of people messaging me about this video, and I watched this video at 4 in the morning. I don't know when I'll be posting this because I have 80 things else going on, but I wanted to watch it and react to it, even though I've already watched it. I'm really nervous to watch this. And I hope that I say all the things that I wanted to say. I'm really nervous that I won't say all the stuff because I'm pretty zoned. I'm gonna take my iPad out and we're gonna watch this video. Yo, Paige changed outfits and looks happier. What does that mean? That means that this clip is happening at a time that the other one was not filmed. They were filmed at different times. This video has been sponsored and I am going to tell you about it now. So a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. I'm sure y'all have heard lots about BetterHelp, but here is yet again some more. I believe that therapy is and should be for everybody. Unfortunately, therapy is not always accessible. BetterHelp is a professional counseling service completely online. Online therapy is so important for accessibility, not only for autistic people who may have a problem going into overstimulating environments, or for wheelchair users unsure if the environment they're going to is going to actually accommodate them. BetterHelp is a way for you to be able to, not have to deal with any of that, because you can do all of your therapy from the comfort of your own home. And also, it's more affordable than a lot of traditional therapies, and financial aid is available. It will assess your needs and then match you with a licensed therapist. You have over 15,000 to choose from. And because they believe that you deserve to get the best match possible, they make it easy and free to change counselors if you ever need it. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it is professional counseling done online and available worldwide. With video phone calls or just phone call options, you never have to worry about what environment they're going to place you in. You're going to be able to control it. You can log in at any time to message your counselor. And actually, if you go right now, you'll be able to message them within 48 hours. Visit betterhelp.com/Layle. That's betterhelp/LAYLE. And join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of experienced professionals. And for my listeners, they are giving you 10% off your first month. All you gotta do is click the link in the description to get started. And also please know that I love you and you deserve therapy and you deserve help. I hope that a lot of you can utilize this, and please know you are not alone. Therapy is amazing, and do it, please. Thank you for listening to Paige in a white shirt, and now back to Paige in a different colored shirt and a little more sad. So goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the video. I love you so much. Thank you.
That was my son, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. It might come as a surprise to a lot of you that I even have a son, because in 8 years of making videos, I've never really put him on camera. I'm fairly private and protective when it comes to my family on my channel. Now you might say, hold up, you put your niece and nephews on here all the time, but in my defense, I feel like I've made it pretty clear at this point that I don't really care about them.
I think that was a joke. I think that was supposed to be a joke. And so far, like, I appreciate how he's like, oh, you guys didn't even know that I had a son because I'm private. I'm also very private about children, so I'm not mad at that.
The reason I'm so protective of him is because he has special needs.
Here's the first thing. You'll find that Mark says special needs about 85 times in this video. I'm so over it, Mark. My biggest problem with special needs is that I really need everyone to stop thinking that our needs are special and so spectacular and like beyond the norm. Neurodiversity is normal and our needs deserve to be accommodated at all times. Having special needs or anything that is outside of what people think is typical, like, should also be typical. And you will see that he also dances around the word disabled.
He's on the autistic spectrum, and this is the internet. So even as I make this video, I'm incredibly terrified, but this is something.
So fair. I think that I understand what he's coming from. He feels like people are going to like make fun of him and his son. My other thing is, what is he terrified for? Is he terrified that people are going to make fun of his son? Or is he terrified that he's going to do something wrong and autistic people are going to be upset about it?
A lot of times when people hear he has autism, they want to know what he's really good at. Like, does he have a photographic memory? Or can he do really complex math in his head? For example, if you tell my son's friend any date from any year, he will tell you the day of the week it lands on.
This is my problem here again. I think what Mark is trying to say is that not all autistic people have a special ability thing, and that is completely true. You do not need to have something that you're spectacular at to be a valid disabled person. But then he goes on to show another autistic boy who does have a very unique, special ability. And I just think that that's very inspiration porn-y. Skipping through it because I hate it.
No idea how he has the ability to do this, and he doesn't know how to communicate that to us either.
He doesn't know how to communicate that to us either. Can we stop pretending that this kid is a project for you? And Mark is like laughing and having a fun time, but it's like,
You need some help.
You need some help? Okay, let's go make Play-Doh. It's actually a common misconception, but the truth is the majority of the kids on the autistic spectrum don't have remarkable abilities like this.
that's a sentence in itself.
Our son, however, does have a remarkable ability.
I thought you just said that he didn't. I'm confused.
Although if you see him in public, this ability isn't immediately apparent.
Autistic people do not need to have an ability that you can see or anything to be valid and to be respectful members of society.
Crowded place, he might look disengaged, or it might seem like he doesn't really know what's going on. Carly Fleischman has autism and was able to explain why this is. And what you should know about Carly is that because of her erratic behavior and because she can't speak, for years people thought she was just severely autistic and had other extreme mental handicaps. Until one day when they put her in front of a computer where she could type. And then they realized there was so much more going on in her head.
AAC is so important, and there are so many other methods of communication besides speech, and it is disgusting how many people think that just because an autistic person is non-vocal means that they know nothing or that they are nothing. Autistic people do not have to be amazing and have all these wild abilities and to be valid, and you're perpetuating the stereotype that that's true. Just because someone is non-vocal does not mean that they can't communicate and does not mean that they don't know what you're saying.
This amazing breakthrough made it so Carly was able to explain how it feels to have autism.
Which is really sucky because it was never her job to have to do that. It should not be autistic people's jobs to make people accept us in our autisticness. However, it oftentimes is because neurotypical people don't do it right and create this narrative.
Our brains are wired differently. We take in many sounds and conversations at once. I take over 1,000 pictures of a person's face when I look at them. That's why we have a hard time looking at people.
Basically, people with autism don't have a filter in their brain like the rest of us. So if you and I were having a conversation here in this park, I can ignore everything around me and just focus on your voice. But if I had autism, I would hear the ice cream man ringing the bell behind me, and the kid crying because he's not getting any ice cream, and the cars going by, and the plane up there, as well as the train in the distance. Not to mention all of the different smells and the fact that the tag on my shirt is kind of rubbing on my back. It's sensory overload and everything comes in all at once, and it's...
I really wanted to skip that part, but I really wanted to include it, to talk about it. That part just shows that this was not made for autistic people at all, and that Mark had no care about autistic people. I'm really going to try to stay calm. Most people don't care about autistics. Mark put that in so you could experience what it's like to be autistic, so you can accept his son, so you can understand his son better. Mark did not care to include or accommodate autistic people. Him putting that in was awful to my autistic self watching it. This is not about autistics. This is for neurotypicals. This is for neurotypicals to be like, look, this is what autism is like. You should be creating a world that is more accommodating for your son than worrying about what everyone else thinks of your son. I'm really mad that he included that part. That's not fair. Let's keep going.
But at home, when he's in a familiar environment without a bunch of distractions, you start to get a glimpse of who he really is.
That also kills me, that who he really isn't his autism. That all the things that make him autistic are not who he really is. Seems like Mark is really trying to separate autism from his son and trying to say that autism isn't a thing in general. You need to look beyond it. No, your son's autistic, Mark, and that's who he is. And it impacts every single part about who he is.
It plays to his remarkable ability I mentioned earlier, and it has to do with how he spends his free time at home by himself. When he first meets someone, he will ask important questions like what your favorite color is and if your house has stairs. Then the first chance he gets, he will make you a full-page mural.
Did we see the puzzle piece shirt? It's okay to be... Oh God, I'm nervous of what that says.
Completely covered in about 2 pounds of your favorite crayon color, and he'll write you a personal letter on the back. As you can see, he takes this job pretty seriously, and so we are constantly running out of envelopes and stamps. What's so remarkable to see as his parents is how happy people become when they get one of his letters. And the letters themselves certainly aren't any literary masterpiece.
Oh, the letters, they're just not, they're not any literary masterpiece. Stop with this of why are you talking like this? I can't even say the right things. I'm just so...
Something special coming from him. Most kids are 12 years old, they get home from school and they're on their phones or they're thinking about themselves and how to look cool. But his biggest thrill is interacting with others. His superpower is making other people happy.
His superpower. Can we just normalize autistic humans being humans? Would you say this about a neurotypical? Oh, his superpower is making other people happy because they just think he's so cute. Stop infantilizing your 12-year-old son.
He also makes people better. Birthday parties are a really big deal for him, even if it's not his. And everyone is always compassionate and patient with him, so he can make sure things happen just right.
People are always compassionate and patient with him. This is all about neurotypical people and what they think of his son.
Having a child with special needs can be challenging at times.
Special needs.
And certainly some cases out there are much harder than others. But his mom has always done a great job of finding and focusing on the best parts about our son, and then making sure other people can see and celebrate those parts as well.
But we look at the best of it. We try to find the best things about it, and we want other people to see the good. That fucking just kills me. They're like, yeah, there are bad parts about our son that we try to not let anybody see. We try to focus on the good. Your son is not dying of a terminal illness.
Regardless of your religious or political beliefs or your favorite sports team or any other way we like to divide ourselves into tribes, I think we can all agree that a successful life is one where you leave the world better than you found it. Sort of a net positive effect due to your influence. There's a lot of normal functioning people who are critical and seek to tear others down.
At least to use finger quotations for that. Autism is a part of neurodiversity, which is natural.
People with special needs might not fit the traditional criteria of success.
If we are going to have all these people with special needs right now to show some inspiration porn, Hold on, it gets worse.
By benefiting GDP or getting a PhD to cure a disease, but they have such a net positive effect on the people that get to interact with them.
So there we go again, saying, oh, so disabled people, which he dances around the word disabled, but we're going to say what it fucking is, are not going to do amazing things. But their purpose in this world is to make us happy. That is infantilizing, that is gross, not going to get a PhD to cure a horrible disease. Do I see neurotypical people getting a PhD to cure horrible diseases? They make us happy. Oh, that's their only part. We do not live to serve or please you.
They personify traits like perseverance, such as with Jason here, who has autism and was the dutiful sports equipment manager for 4 years.
In this case, Jason is just used as a beacon of inspiration porn. That's all that he was used for in this.
So the coach put him in for the last 4 minutes of the game his senior year. He sank not 1, not 2, but 6 3-pointers, including one right at the final buzzer, for a performance his supportive classmates will remember for the rest of their lives.
People are like, that's so cute, that's so cute. Oh my god, it's so exciting. Can we stop infantilizing disabled people for being humans? For living? Also, if that kid's autistic, y'all really all want to have 200 people yelling and screaming and hugging him in the middle of a swag.
Special needs ground the rest of us and demonstrate the simple joys life can offer.
The simple joys life can offer. We're not for you. We are not so you can get inspiration and feel better about yourself.
With our hectic schedules and task lists, they remind us that things don't have to be that complicated.
Things don't have to, I don't know about y'all, but this is making me feel like shit. I'm pretty complicated. Things don't have to be that complicated. He's like, oh, you guys are stupid. Yeah, you guys are just dumb. You guys are just not the same level as the rest of us.
Or in the case of Carly, that our initial critical snap judgments of each other might be totally wrong. My son will never be the star of his Little League team. He won't be the first person to step foot on Mars, nor will he invent the cure to cancer.
I don't see neurotypical people being the first to stand on Mars. I don't see neurotypical people curing cancer right now. Your son is a human being, and the only reason why your son may not be able to do a lot of things is because society does not allow him, does not accommodate him and his needs. If they did, he could do a hell of a lot more things. We all could, but unfortunately we live in a society that thinks that we're just used for inspiration porn and that's it.
Him and his special needs buddies and
special needs
are giants living amongst us mere mortals. They make the world a better place, and we're lucky to have them.
Say special needs one more time and I might throw my lid. Flip my lid. We are not here to make your world better by enjoying us and our lives.
Mark and I will be co-hosting a 3-hour live stream for charity on Mark's YouTube channel on April 30th, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can figure out all the other times. We'll be doing this together.
It's called Color the Spectrum because, you know, my son likes to color. And we'll also be joined by some folks you might have heard of, such as Mr. Beast, the D'Amelio sisters, Jacksepticeye.
So I really want to talk about this charity now. So then Mark goes on to list a bunch of names, a bunch of famous people that are going to be at this live stream, and it is called Next for Autism. That is the charity that they are donating everything to. Let's just play this.
Autism spectrum as they transition into becoming adults.
There are resources for kids and teens affected by autism, but there isn't much for adults.
Yeah, it kind of drops off.
Teens affected by autism. Ugh. So the charity, it is called Next for Autism. Next for Autism has a lot of ties with Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks is widely known as an autism hate group, and I do have a lot of videos on my TikTok about it. Not only were they partners on their website, but you can see Autism Speaks symbols and their logo in the video that Mark posted. This charity, Next for Autism, also has curing, preventing autism in its mission statement. There are a lot of obvious problems with this. It's really frustrating that people don't see a problem with this. I just want to let everyone know that when you talk about curing or preventing autism, you are telling people like me, millions of us around the world, that our brains are a burden to you. That this brain that we did not ask to be born with is too hard for you because you would rather not change your mind, would rather not fix, the society to include me. What they do is they research ways to detect autism in the womb, the same way they do for Down syndrome. They then can detect if your kid is going to be autistic in the womb so that you can abort the kid. Now, I am pro-choice. That means that if you cannot have a child for any reason, or if you don't want to have a child, you should not be forced to have a child. However, if you are only aborting a child because they are autistic, I have a problem. When you opt to have a child, you are opting to have a child that's autistic, have a child that is Down syndrome, have a gay child, have a trans child, have a child with physical or mental or intellectual disabilities. If you choose to have a child, you are choosing to have a child that will be hard to take care of. If you cannot take care of an autistic child, you should not be having a child. My parents tested for Down syndrome with my brother, and there was a 99% chance that my brother was going to have Down syndrome. The cutoff time for an abortion is 20 weeks where I live, and my mother was 22 or 23 weeks along, and the doctor said, "Do you want to abort this baby?" They have an extended abortion timeline if your child has Down syndrome. A Down syndrome fetus has less rights than a neurotypical fetus. A Down syndrome fetus is seen as less of a human than a neurotypical fetus at the same stage. And that's what's going to happen to autism as well. It should not have already happened for Down syndrome, but that's what they want for autism as well. So companies that are caring and researching about how to detect autism earlier, that's what they're doing. Again, I'm pro-choice. But I think that if you are only going to abort a specific type of baby, that's a problem. I am so sick of hearing from neurotypicals that I'm a burden. I didn't ask to be like this. None of us did. And you think that your autistic child doesn't hear you when you are talking about curing or preventing autism? When you're talking about how horrible they are, how awful they are to take care of, if you do not have autism, autism will never be as hard on you as it is on your autistic child. You will never know what autism is like unless you're autistic. I also wanted to add some things about some of the celebrities there that are supporting this. My first celebrity that I wanted to talk about is Dixie D'Amelio. Dixie and I are actually friends on TikTok, and I am really surprised. I had never heard of this going on until Mark's video, which then a lot of other people pointed me towards. I am surprised that not one of the celebrities is autistic. There are a plethora of autistic celebrities. I am surprised that there was zero collaboration with autistic people. Yet again, to show you, this is not for autistic people. This is inspiration porn for neurotypical people to feel like they're doing something good. And I'm really surprised that Dixie did not reach out to me, that she did not even think to question or ask autistic people what they think about this organization or about any of this at all. So that's my one thing, that Dixie has an open communication with me to talk to me, and she didn't. There are 30 celebrities there, and this is at the end of the day Mark's project. So am I blaming Dixie? No, but I just wanted to point out that we have an open communication and it was not utilized at all. My second celebrity that I'd like to talk about is Miranda Sings. A few months ago, an autistic creator made a 6-part series as to why they didn't like me. I did not publicly respond to this, and I do not care to share this person's name. I did not want to give this person more of an audience than they already had. And also it was very hateful, very ableist, and honestly disgusting. It did make me very, very upset. And one thing that made me very upset was Colleen Berenger, the voice, and the Miranda Sings, the person, Colleen, commented on his videos of me that he made saying how much he doesn't like me. she was agreeing with him and saying that I'm listening to you. I'm here for you. And that really got me. I am really thankful that I did not have a Miranda Sings phase in my youth, because if I did ever like Miranda Sings, that would have absolutely destroyed me. So am I shocked that Colleen is on here? I'm not that surprised. I'm really upset. I'm really disappointed. I'm exhausted. We continue to not be included. People continue to not listen to autistic adults that are out here talking, doing big things. All these things are just for neurotypicals to feel better about themselves, and they're not for autistic people. So that's it for today. Had to get that off my chest and had to let you guys know what's going on. I'm really upset and disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I hate that I have to keep convincing people that I deserve to live. Sorry for this video being kind of a bummer, but this had to get done, had to be said, had to be out there. Guys, please listen to autistic people. We're out there and we're talking and we're doing things. Please listen to us. Please stop using us as inspiration porn. We're just humans and we deserve to be accommodated as any other human is. Why are able people allowed to do whatever they want? I'll talk to you later. Bye. I'm sorry.